Hello there, welcome back to the Ogre, the old Git Reacts, Reviews and Off Times Reminiscences, and today we're doing Colloidal Heart. It says it there, look. Well, I know nothing about. I don't tend to find anything out about them, to be honest, as usual. It's the music that does the talking, and I'll do the walking to buy it if I think it's good enough for my ears, which in this case it is. Now, curiously, I don't research any bands, but can't help but read a bit of the stitherem that's on their Bandcamp page when you're sort of having a listen initially to see whether or not it is for you. And they do cite a number of very non-metallic influences coming to play in their music. And from the brief listen I've had of this, yeah, they're in there, but they're very, very subtle, or at least brief when the time comes. But nonetheless, sometimes you want your punk, metal, whatever music to sound just like that, and sometimes it's quite a delight to find other influences at play. There's not much of that in this track we're going to listen to, mainly because it's my favourite track, and why wouldn't I listen to the favourite track with you guys and girls? So we'll have a listen. Let's go. Who wouldn't love a start like that? Thunderous, quite imperious really. You can also imagine the band sort of stood in an arena glaring down at you and getting their minions to chuck rocks at you, or various other hurty items. One thing I do like, and it's always been a musical motif I've always tended to enjoy, is where you have music that absolutely sort of thunders along and is off a racket, but also has a drone at the back of it. So there's a drone, presumably synth tone at the back of there that lingers, and as a consequence, something about that sort of music just really sort of makes me feel happy. And by way of a example, which isn't particularly metallic, so David Bowie, an artist I don't particularly enjoy at all. However, his Heroes song, with that long droning tone version from start to finish, with nary a quiver from start to end, that features through the whole song, means that there is one David Bowie song I like, and it's that one, for that very reason. Yeah, so yeah, as I say, very pleasing to hear that sort of thing in a song, as long as it's appropriate to the music, of course. So one of the to sort of expand on what I said before, really, is one of the most effective ways of making this sort of music is when you've got an absolute barrage of music, sort of hell for leather instrumentation, particularly the drums, and at least a rhythm guitar is just trying to give itself a heart attack. You've got that counterpoint of a slow droning tone, and far from sort of reducing the sensation of speed, it actually accentuates it. It provides that contrast. So, it's almost black and white, isn't it? You by having that stark contrast, you actually accentuate both aspects, really. But particularly here, there is a maelstrom of music with slow drifting cloud above it. So it does, as I say, it is quite a pleasing and rewarding way of listening to music, says I. So, as if to as if the band were listening, they've gone, you can bollocks talking about droning synthy tones and sort of that sort of counterpoint. We're going to stop now, and that's the sort of drone has been buried well and truly with a certain threatening guitar instead. And again, it's a change of emphasis, which the band do promise in their in the wordings of their Bandcamp page. They tell you things ain't going to be a linear ride for most of the time. So but it does add to that sort of impression of a sort of arrogance, if you like. It's sort of gone from their minions lobbing sharply pointed objects at you, or objects that give you blunt force trauma, to more personal sort of threats. They are poking you in the chest, really, and their eyes are telling you that they'll stand no nonsense. It is it's a slightly change in tone, adds a bit more threat here, I think. Whether that's implied or deliberate, of course, is open to your own interpretation. as usual, I've only heard this this song a couple of times, and it's about to cost me some money. But the what I do remember this track of the two, it is my favourite track off the album, and I've only heard the album about 3 times. So now I know what it consists of. It will be purchased in short order, but this has got a little charge to the end and a return to the droniness in the background, of course. But I think I only heard it 2 or 3 times. Don't quote me. I might be totally wrong here. But I missed the point of what I was going to say by waffling on about something different. For I got to what I was meaning to say. Shall I leave it at that? Because yes, you guys are far too busy to have to wait for me to remember what it is I wanted to say. So let's enjoy the rush to the end, shall we? Well, there you go. And yet again, I've proved myself totally wrong by imagining a song ending differently to what I thought it did. I was convinced there was another sort of race to the finish there, and I couldn't have been more wrong. But nonetheless, what we heard there was something that did make me happy. I don't know why I bother making any comments on these songs, because I'll prove myself wrong within short order very often. But I suppose sometimes I'm on the mark, which is, I don't know, good enough in it, and you're really here for the music more than anything else, or are you? But anyway, wrong-footed yet again by not listening to music enough. I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? If you're going to review something, why not listen to it a few more times? Because these aren't reactions in the sense of first time ever type stuff. So, as I said before, I do like to have a fairly fresh take on what I'm listening to, and inevitably that means I'm often wrong about what it is I'm going to listen to or hear. Anyway, clicky bollocks. Catch you all next time. Cheerio.